Hi, all. So, the lesson that I'm working on is a mathematics lesson from first grade. It's coming out of Module 6, Lesson 10. And so, I did want to note this is not a lesson that I have taught. It's a current lesson that we're working on virtually, but it is a review lesson of a lesson that we've previously taught back in Module 4. So, it's very similar to the Module 4 lesson. We're just now using numbers that are above 40. And it was taught in a small group format. So students are spending 20 to 25 minutes with the teacher for this lesson, and then they'll spend 20 minutes independently. So in this lesson, we are adding and subtracting multiples of 10. And we're going all the way from 10 to 100. And we'll also be using dimes to work on being able to add and subtract. So our two standards, as you can see here, understanding that two digits represent the amount in tens and ones, specifically special cases being those that have 0 ones. So those are our multiples of 10. And we also have a standard where we're adding within 100 using two-digit numbers. So both of these standards are saying that we are understanding, remembering what we've learned about place value while also applying that work from place value to now addition and subtraction of two-digit numbers. So the overall idea when teaching the lesson is you're helping students understand that tens are very similar to ones, because tens are numbers that don't have any extra ones, whereas other numbers that are two digits may have extra ones. So as you can see in this graphic, we teach the students, for example, 4 plus 3 equals 7 is very similar to saying 4 tens plus 3 tens equals 7 tens, which then leads us to understand that 40 plus 30 is equal to 70. So this graphic really gets how we would teach this. Many of my gifted/advanced students would get that in a snap. And remember, this lesson is review for our students. So you then, in your teaching, repeat the process with this suggested sequence that you see here bulleted. And those are just suggested problems. You could alter those. That's the bulk of the teaching. And then you can see here in their problem set, this is what they'll be completing independently. Some groups work on this with their teacher, while the more advanced group, which this lesson applies to, would not be done with the teacher. It would be done independently. So you can see we're applying our understanding of tens to be able to add and subtract multiples of 10 to 100. So that's what our problem set looks like. Now for information about increasing the rigor of the lesson. So as we can see, the standard asks them, as mentioned before, to remember, understand, and apply their knowledge of base 10. But I wanted to take it a little deeper so that they could be able to apply it to real world situations through analyzing, evaluating, and creating. So to apply to real world situations, I wanted them to think about the times that we use multiples of 10, meaning dimes. So we would talk about when we use these things in real life, how we use these things, why they're important to us. And then the student should be able to understand why it's important in daily life, being the situation is predictable or unpredictable. And then I would like to introduce the students to the dollar, understanding that the dollar is just the same thing as 10 groups of 10, meaning 10 dimes to make $1. So the actual bulk of the lesson would come when the students pretend they're at a store. So the teacher will place a variety of items on the table that are priced in multiples of 10. For example, something may be worth 20 cents while something else may be worth 40 cents. And the teacher will give each student $1. But in order for that child to be able to purchase that item, they would have to be able to say the change that the teacher must give them. By that, I mean, if you are Sally and you have $1 and you're trying to purchase a 20-cent item, I want you to be able to say back, I need 80 cents back, which is equivalent to 8 dimes. So that's giving them the application of subtracting 100 minus 80 is equal to 20. So then we could even take it deeper to talk about two-step problems with addition and subtraction, like if you were to put your dollars together or if you were to purchase more than one item. So we're still adding and subtracting, but we're working with multiples. So as you can see here, I think in this lesson, my goal would be to take them to creating, because in the end, they will create word problems.